Aberystwyth. I hope you're definitely very pleasantly surprised here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful location both to visit and to study. And we often see many students sat down on the beach revising and working as well. And if you joined the call early, there was some lovely calming background music of waves in the ocean, and that's something that all of our students get to enjoy here, really.
I thought it was suitable.
Yeah, perfect. It really was. So yeah, wonderful location. And you may also be thinking, oh, I don't really know how to say that word at the top, Aberystwyth. It is a complicated one to speak and pronounce. So we very affectionately term Aberystwyth Aber, really. So that's the shortened version. And if you hear us referring to Aber throughout the webinar today, then yeah, it's just much easier to use. So as Bo mentioned, some of the topics we'll be covering today. Firstly, who and where are we, providing a bit of background. Then also, why choose Aberystwyth University? What do we excel in, really? Why should students come to us? I'll touch on the campus, provide a bit of background there, and also accommodation and our main scholarship offering, the International Accommodation Award, I'll run through as well. A fantastic accommodation scholarship opportunity for students. I'll talk a bit on student life and what there is for students to do in the town of Aberystwyth. As Bo also mentioned, COVID-19, everybody's favourite topic at the moment. I'll discuss how we as a university have been handling it, the situation in the UK, and how we expect things to look come the next academic year as well. Also, we'll walk through some subject areas with a specific focus on a few departments, and also the tuition costs attached to any of our study programs here. And then our International English Centre and the foundation course offerings that we have within that. And then towards the end, I'll be passing over to my colleagues to discuss entry requirements both for Southeast Asia and India as well. So firstly, we'll just kick off by sharing a video here showing a bit of background of ABBA to get you all excited. So as promised, lots of scenic shots of Aberystwyth there in the video, but hopefully a bit of background there on what we're about. So as I believe Bo mentioned earlier, and also in the video, we were the first university founded in Wales in 1872, and we're fast approaching our 150-year anniversary next year. So that's a particularly exciting time for the university and partners that we're working with, looking to host some familiarization trips over the next couple of years as well. A very unique location here at Aberystwyth. Of course, we're right on the coast with the beach, but we also have lots of mountain ranges just behind us. So that contrast is often really interesting to students visiting us from abroad, being so close to the beach, but also having these great mountains and hills to walk in as well. We're certainly very proud of our international community here at Aberystwyth, welcoming students from over 60 different countries each year. And we have lots of international student societies to reflect that. In terms of our size as a university, we are small to medium sized with around 7,000 university students. And in terms of the international population of these students, it's roughly about 20%. So around 1,500 international students at the university each year. And then just looking out to the size of the town in general, it's very different to a big city here that you might find in the UK, such as London, Birmingham, or Manchester. Aberystwyth is a little bit of a smaller town, so a population of only around 20,000 people. But what that means, and one of the great advantages of that, is that almost half of the town's population is made up of university students and staff members. So there's a really strong community feel here in Aberystwyth. It definitely feels like a university town. And how safe and welcoming an environment it is really often talked about by our students and any visiting parents, for example. So that's something that can help to reassure applicants. One of the first things we often get asked, other than how do you pronounce your name, is where exactly are you located as well. So, of course, the map of the UK here, we have Wales highlighted in green, and we're on the midwest coast of Wales. So the closest travel options that students tend to go to when traveling internationally are both Birmingham International Airport and Manchester International Airport as well. Both about a 2.5-hour journey away from Aberystwyth. And one of the services that we provide each year during our Welcome Week is an airport pickup service free of charge for our international students from Birmingham Airport. So we send over coaches with some of our international staff members on, some of our global ambassador students, to pick up international students directly from the airport and take them to their accommodation in Aberystwyth. So that's a great chance to meet some of the staff members face to face, make some friends, but then also get safely to your accommodation as well. I know it can be daunting arriving in a new country for the first time. And then looking a little bit further afield, we have London, about a 4.5-hour train journey away as well. So not typically something that students will do within one day, but many of our international students will choose to go to spend a weekend in London, as it's definitely something to see when in the UK. So why select Aberystwyth University? What are we very strong in? We're definitely very widely recognised for our teaching excellence here at Aber, and we received gold in the most recent Teaching Excellence Framework in the UK, the highest standard available. And our investment in our academics and teaching staff definitely comes across in how successful and satisfied our students are. So we're currently #1 in the whole of the UK for student satisfaction and teaching quality. So really evidences how happy our students are with the standard of the degree that they're getting here at Aber. We are a World Top 500 university, ranked 485th in QS rankings, and 401 to 500 in Times Higher Education rankings. And then narrowing that focus in on the UK, we are now establishing ourselves as a top 50 UK university, ranked 42nd in the Times and 49th in the Guardian as well. So performing very strongly academically. We are a very employability focused university with an extremely high percentage of our graduates in work or further study within 6 months. We have a dedicated careers team here in the university who help students to find employment and also put on careers fairs throughout the year as well. So something that's particularly helpful with the new graduate visa being introduced and students being able to stay in the UK for 2 years after the completion of their study and look for job opportunities here. We have the staff that are able to help students find this employment in the UK and abroad as well. So a shot here just showing you what our wonderful campus is like, really. So you can see clustered at the top towards the coast, most of the town are there, and that's where all of the sort of cafes, restaurants, bars and shops tend to be. But then a little bit further back inland, you can see our main campus in front of you here. And this is about a 10 to 15 minute walk away from the town centre. And in front of us, we have all of the main academic buildings, so where students will be having their lectures and seminars during the day, then also facilities such as the university library and sports facilities as well. You may also notice that we have the National Library of Wales here in Aberystwyth as well, located right next to the campus. So not only do students get to enjoy their own university library facility, they can also go and study in this National Library that we're lucky to have here in Wales as well. So there's no fighting for seats in the university library, which is familiar for many UK university students. There is lots of space to come and study here. And just towards the coast, you will actually also see Old College. And I'll just flick slides to explain what this is really. It's where the university was previously housed back in 1872 when it was founded. And whilst it's been closed for a few years, the university has now invested £30 million into restoring and reopening this facility. And that's due to reopen in line with our 150-year celebrations towards the end of next year. And it's going to be introducing a wide amount of teaching spaces, so students can have some seminars and lectures there, but also function and social rooms as well for our students and any visiting family members to enjoy. Interestingly, the Old College is also going to have a 5-star hotel within it. And this is something that's led our business school to look into introducing a hotel management undergraduate course program, which we're hoping to launch in 2023 in partnership with this hotel facility here. So this is a similar shot to what you saw earlier. Hopefully you still recognize the department buildings just on the left of the screen. But this evidences our accommodation and how closely situated it is to the main campus. So all of students' lectures and seminars tend to be within a 5-minute walk of where they're staying. So it's different to a campus city where it's all spread out. Everything's nice and close and accessible here in Aberystwyth. Hopefully you'll also notice it's a very green campus that we enjoy here in Aber. It's certainly very spacious and something that's been particularly helpful in the past year in a time of what has been social distancing in the UK. You don't feel all crammed together here. It's a nice environment to live and study in. So as mentioned earlier, we do have an accommodation scholarship award, and I'll just share with you now a video helping to explain the award, and then I'll run through some details afterwards as well. So hopefully that's given you a quick overview of what the award is, but I will again explain it now. And I think the first thing just to highlight is that although it says places were awarded on a first come, first served basis, we do guarantee all of our international students with this guarantee of free accommodation no matter when they apply. So please rest assured there is no rush to get any applications in. But the International Accommodation Award, something that we introduced this current academic year, actually. So the year we're in now is the first year we've been running the award, and it provides all students paying international fees the option of free or discounted accommodation. We've seen the vast majority of our international students selecting this free accommodation within the Court Mao residences, but some students may prefer to choose our more luxury accommodation at the option of a £2,000 per year discount instead. And I think what's important to really highlight here is that although in Aberystwyth it's shown as a £4,000 discount per year, it's all relative depending on where you're studying within the UK. So perhaps in Aberystwyth, if you're studying a 3-year degree programme here, you could see it as £12,000 saved throughout the course of the programme. But if studying elsewhere in the UK with, say, a £6,000 per year cost for accommodation, there is that additional saving that you could factor in as well. So the award enables our international students to have free accommodation, no matter the length of their study here in the UK. So if it's a 1-year foundation or postgraduate programme, they receive the award, but also our students studying throughout a 3- or 4-year programme have this free accommodation for all years of study as well. So hopefully making the option of studying in the UK a lot more financially viable for many international students. So student life in Aberystwyth, what is there to do in this lovely seaside town? So firstly, the one to mention is our student societies that we have. And these are based out of our students' union held on campus as well. And one of the advantages of Aberystwyth being relatively far away from a lot of the main cities in the UK is that so many students stay here over the weekends. And this has allowed our student clubs and societies to really flourish and grow and have a lot of activity based on the weekends outside of these lecture times. We also have a huge amount of sports clubs here at the university, social sports, all for athletes who'd like to compete against other UK universities as well. And obviously being on the coast, water sports is a particularly big one here in Aberystwyth. Not one that I'm looking to try myself, but many, many students choose to do water sports here at Aber. Also a very popular tourist destination. So this doesn't just mean it's a really vibrant and exciting cosmopolitan town, it also means work opportunities as well. So we have a lot of shops, cafes and bars which use students for their staff members throughout the term time. So there is an opportunity to use that 20 hours per week that you can work on a part-time visa here. So just to provide an update on COVID-19 and the situation that Aberystwyth and the UK has been in and where we look to be come September. So our term starts for this upcoming academic year on October 4th with the Welcome Week starting at the end of September. And this past academic year, we allowed our students to come and access their free accommodation for the self-quarantine period beforehand. So we opened up our halls of residence for students to come and isolate for the 2 weeks earlier in September, so that when their term time started, they were allowed to go out and interact. So we've actually returned to face-to-face teaching quite excitingly this week. This past Monday, we have returned to in-classroom teaching here in Wales. So a little bit further ahead than the rest of the UK. And this is just down to how well the vaccination programme is going here in the UK. So over 50% of the population is now vaccinated, with almost 2/3 of adults in the UK having received their vaccine. And whilst this is on track to complete towards the end of July, that should mean that we are allowed to continue this face-to-face teaching come October, and we expect all of our classes to be in person. Whereas during this year, it was more of a blended approach with some online class and some face-to-face. Another thing to note is that international students will be eligible to receive the vaccine if studying in the UK. So arriving at the end of September or October, international students will be able to access the vaccine through the NHS here. And also, COVID-19 in Aberystwyth has been consistently low. There isn't much use of public transport around due to everything being within walking distance, and you've seen for yourself how much of a spacious campus it is. So the virus didn't really spread well here, and the county is currently recording 0 cases of COVID-19 in Aberystwyth, so a very safe environment, and we expect it to continue this way. So now we'll move on to some of the subject areas that we have in the university. And what you see in front of you is our program areas for undergraduate and postgraduate study, but the vast majority of these also offering foundation courses integrated within them as well. A different offering to our International English Centre foundations, which I'll mention towards the end. But before I take a particular focus on a few subject areas in the next slides, just a few to highlight here. So firstly, politics and international politics. We were the first international politics department founded in the world back in 1919. So that's one of our more prestigious and historic departments there, and one that's performing particularly well. It's one of our UK top 10 subjects. We also have a very strong law school at Aberystwyth, and a very strong market definitely in Southeast Asia that I'm sure my colleague Marianne will be able to talk about later, but a wide range of LLB programs within law here. We also do particularly well in several niche subjects as well. So the art and art history department, and also drama, theatre, film and television studies. Some really good undergraduate and postgraduate options within those, and fantastic facilities on campus as well. You may also see engineering highlighted within subject areas, but I'd just like to point out at this point, we don't currently offer mechanical or general engineering courses at Aber. These are electrical engineering and software engineering courses as well, also physics engineering. So not the typical engineering strands, but more specialized engineering focus areas there. So the first department I'd like to talk about is our Aberystwyth Business School. And you can see the range of undergraduate courses that we offer on the left-hand side here. And many of these share what we call a common first year. So a lot of modules are shared by students, whether they're on a business management course, economics or marketing, for example, within their first year. And this actually allows students to change their program moving into second year if they wish to do so, due to that flexible approach in our first year of study. But moving into second year, we do offer consultancy modules within our business school. And so this is real life application within local and national businesses within the UK, giving the students the chance to apply what they've learned in their first year to assessments of how the business is actually doing, which they're marked on in their second year. And also employability modules in our third year, expanding on this, working with local firms such as the NHS and the Welsh government that we have located in Aberystwyth as well. So again, that real life application in business that employers are looking for. It's one of the reasons that our employability rates are so high, not just within the university, but particularly within the business school as well. And for students looking to progress into master's courses or join master's courses here, we're quite finance heavy in a lot of our master's programs, and a lot of the research within the business school is finance based. But this year we've actually introduced 6 MBA programs as well. So corporate social responsibility, engineering management, international marketing, and they're of course our flagship MBA program as well. And these have options to begin both in September and also January as well. So these are our main January start courses, the MBA. And they do offer placements within our MBA programs as well for students. Also, the business school is looking to introduce a Bloomberg trading suite over the next year to help students who are looking into their interest of trading, and we'll have modules that will cater for this. But the trading suite will also be accessible for any students with an interest in trading, not just our business school students. Secondly, computer science. Again, our range of undergraduate courses shown here on the left-hand side. But the main difference with our computer science programs is that almost all of our undergrad options include the year in industry possibility as well. So students are connected with firms across the UK and often seen working in their year in industry in Europe as well. And we have a really interesting section on our website that I will link through that shows where students often end up during their year in industry. And this leads to employment opportunities following their degree as well. I was speaking with a member of staff from computer science the other day, and I was asking about what do students do? What are some examples that we can give from their year in industry? And we had a student who recently worked with Nintendo for their year in industry, and then went on to find employment with them following graduation as well. So the dream job for many students looking to work in computer science and gaming. And then our master's programs, we also have the Advanced Computer Science course, which offers the choice of a year in industry as well. So lots of possibilities to help find employment here. And also our computer science master's program is available to students who haven't studied their bachelor's program in computer science as well. So an option that we see many international students applying for. We have very strong research groups and academics within computer science, with some of our leading lecturers working on the ExoMars rover project recently. And we're also helping to develop our facilities in computer science as well, and introducing a virtual reality lab in the next couple of years also. So the final department I'll just highlight here is probably our largest department, the Institute of Biological, Environmental and Rural Sciences. And this has really come to strengthen in Aberystwyth due to sort of the land here. We have a lot of farmland in Aberystwyth, so agricultural studies are certainly very leading, and also animal sciences and zoology. Also located on the coast, we attract academics who are very strong in marine biology as well. So one of our newest programs launching this coming September as well is our veterinary science program, a 5-year program that's partnered with the Royal Veterinary College. The first vet science program offered by universities in Wales, and one that we've seen a lot of interest for so far, one that we know is going to be very, very strong. So that was a quick run through of some of our academic programs, but please feel free to ask any questions later on in the chat as well. So just to highlight our tuition costs as well for international students, we definitely consider ourselves as a UK top 50 university as very competitively priced. So undergraduate degrees there, £14,000 for arts and social sciences, up to £16,000 for science courses. And then the postgraduate fees shown just below this. But of course, this does include the accommodation costs as well. So we are a very attractively priced university for the standard of education that we are offering. And in terms of some additional scholarship opportunities to mention beyond the International Accommodation Award, and these can be combined. It's not just one scholarship here. Students can combine their scholarship opportunities. For undergraduate students, we have our optional entrance examinations. And so just for this year, whilst exams are all based online, it's only accessible to students who have applied for a UCAS. But in normal year, this will be accessible for any undergraduate advancing students. And these are 2 1.5-hour exams that students can sit either in Aberystwyth or in a school in their own country. And the top performing students can receive up to £2,000 as a stipend per academic year. So for each academic year here. And we have different bands of financial reward as well, with the lowest offer actually being an unconditional place in Aberystwyth. So it takes off some of the stresses of the upcoming spring and summer exams, when by February time, students already know they have an unconditional offer here. And for postgraduate students, we also have our Global Wales scholarships. So for markets today, this includes Vietnam and applicants from India as well. And this is a £10,000 discount on tuition fees for postgraduate students if successful. So the last slide from me on the International English Centre before I pass on to my colleagues to discuss entry requirements for regions. So we have an accredited and very highly ranked International English Centre here at Aberystwyth, and not only offering pre-masters courses and then pre-sessional courses as well, ranging from 6 to 42 weeks, we also have our International Foundation certificates here. And different to the integrated foundation programs that we have within the departments, which are just academic subject-based, these International Foundation certificates are for students who need to improve their English scores, and also with a focus on academic work tied with the courses as well. So we offer 30-week courses starting from both September and January, or a 15-week fast track course starting in January for students whose English is a little bit more advanced. Typically would need a 4.5 IELTS to begin a 30-week course, or a 5.0 to a 5.5 IELTS score or equivalent to enter the 15-week fast track program. So these are popular options for students who've completed year 12 of studies in their home country, for example, and are looking for that bridge between that completion of high school and then into a undergraduate entry. And completion of one of our foundation certificates does guarantee progression onto one of our Aberystwyth University degrees as well. We have foundation pathways specifically into business, computer science, international politics, law and criminology, and also theatre, film and television studies as well. In terms of fees, these are shown towards the bottom of the screen here. But again, any students studying an international foundation certificate or any study here do receive our International Accommodation Award. So that is, again, an attractive offer for students looking to come in at the foundation level as well. And from our International English Centre, we also offer in-sessional support as well. So it doesn't just end pre-degree here. All of our international students are able to access 3 one-to-one consultations with staff members per term at the university. So this is to help with their English language, writing, speaking skills. It can be catered to what students are looking to improve. So lots of support for students who want to improve their English from our centre during their course. So that is all from me for now, and I would now like to pass over to our regional manager for Southeast Asia, Marianne, to talk through some of the entry requirements for regions. And Marianne, if you'd like just to say next slide, whenever you're finished on slides, that would be fantastic.
Thank you very much, Jack. Hello, everyone. As introduced by Jack earlier, my name is Marianne, and we have a regional office based in Malaysia. We cover the Southeast Asia market. So just to go through a little bit about the Malaysia entry requirement, we accept students who have completed their STPM or matriculation with a minimum GPA of 3.0 or a grade B. We also accept UEC qualification, and for students who have completed their SPM with a minimum 5 credit, they are eligible to apply for our International Foundation Program. As for the postgraduate programs for students who have completed with a minimum lower second class honors or a 70% or CGPA of a minimum 3, they would be able to apply for our postgraduate programs. As for the English requirements, we do accept SPM English 1119, the minimum C, or for students who do not have the SPM 1119, they can opt to do an IELTS, or the easiest way would be for them to join in for the password English test. So we do have a password English test where students can sit for the test. If they do get through, it is actually free for them. With the minimum requirement achieved, the test would be free for them. So moving on. Sorry, Jack, could you just go to the next slide, please? These are some of our, I'm sorry, Indonesia first, sure, and then I'll go to our partners. Okay, so for students coming in from Indonesia, we do accept SMA or SMK within a minimum 70%, or if we have students coming in with diplomas from the polytechnics, yes, we do accept them on a case-to-case basis, depending on which level of entry that they are planning to apply for. Similarly, postgraduate, we accept with a minimum lower second class honors or 70%, depending on the department that they're applying for. Again, as for English requirement, it would be undergraduate minimum 6.0 to 6.5 with a minimum 5.5 in all components, or postgraduate 6.5 to 7.5 with a minimum 6 in all components. Or they're more than welcome to do our password English test. Okay. As for Jack, sorry, for the next slide, please. As for Vietnam, for students who have completed their upper secondary graduate diploma with a minimum 8.5, they will be able to apply for our undergraduate program. Or for students who have completed a year 12 with a minimum 6.5 out of 10, students will be able to try and apply for the International Foundation Program. The rest for the postgraduate entry level and for the English requirement. In fact, this Password English test is being conducted in Malaysia itself. So feel free to let Yes Education know, and we will guide you through on that. What I would like to do now is I'd like to introduce you to some of our partners in Malaysia and some of our pathways. So for the agents who are based in Malaysia, they would have a bit more of an idea on who our partners are. So we do work with BAC, and we have a pathway progression for business and law, where students who have completed a 1 year can come and do their 2 years in Aberystwyth, or they could do a 2 years in Malaysia and come to us for 1 year. Similarly, we have a pathway agreement with Help University for business, law, and psychology. And as you can see from the table here, most of our agreement in Malaysia is for the Faculty of Law, because we are one of the very few universities in the UK that can offer students to come back and do their CLP. After completion of their degree, they will be able to come back to Malaysia and do their CLP program. Okay, so please feel free to ask me any questions. I think I will pass I'll pass the slide next to Annette. Thank you, Jack.
Hello, so I'm Annette. I'm the recruitment advisor for India. So the requirements are quite direct for undergraduate streams, and requirements for year 12 is overall 75%. And we have other international, we also have international schools in India. So depending on that, if it's a IB school, then it's 30 points average. If the student has given A levels, then the range is BBC to BBB average. And so these are the basic direct entry requirements for the Indian market. If you receive queries from students who've not done a direct year 12 but a diploma, or from distance learning, you can just contact me. I will help you out with that. For postgraduate degree streams, again, it is 55% or 6 CGPA from a recognized institution. So India has a lot of colleges and a number of universities. If you do not find much information about the tier 1 universities, then you can again contact me. But yes, it is 55% for our postgraduate streams. English language requirements, so depending on the course, our IELTS requirements are between 6 to 7.5. And there are also English language test waivers. So in case the student has scored between 70 to 80% in the year 12 English, only awarded by CBSE, CISE, West Bengal Board, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu boards, only for them, we are offering English language waivers. Again, if you receive queries, anything apart from these boards, you can contact me and help you out. So that's the direct requirements for the India market.
Excellent. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Marianne. So yes, that concludes the slides in terms of the webinar today. And Bo, I suppose I will hand back over to yourself at this point.
Thank you so much, Jack, Marianne, and Annette, for the lovely presentation today. Very clear and very attractive. I love seeing those great pictures in the background of Aberystwyth, and I'd very much like to visit there myself one day too. You mentioned there's some fam trip, so we'll work hard to attend that.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if anyone has any questions specific to Aberystwyth, now would be the time. If you had any more specific questions on the entry requirements or student life or things like that, now would be the time. I'll just check if there's any questions right now. I don't see any. All right, okay, one is popped up. Oh, someone has asked if there's what are the requirements from Pakistan? That's okay if you don't have it right now, but I might get back to this this partner later on if you don't have those, because I don't think any of you are responsible for the Pakistan market. So I might get back to that agent later on.
What we can do is just pop a link into the chat for our Pakistan
that would be great
on our website. So I'm just finding that for your colleague now, Bo.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, and I see there's a question here.
So there's a link for our entry requirements for
Thanks, Jack.
Pakistan.
That's great. There's a question from Vita. I'm wondering if a student coming to ABBA from your partners in Malaysia, can they still be eligible for the post-study work visa once they already finished study in the UK? So for example, someone did 2 years in Malaysia, 2+1, would they be eligible to get the post-study working visa rights in the UK?
Thank you very much for the question, Bo. Yes, students will still be eligible to apply for the post-study work visa as long as they have completed 1 year. They've completed their final year in the UK. They would be eligible to apply for the post-study work visa. Our compliance team will be more than happy to assist you with those queries, and we will guide you through.
Fantastic. So I just heard recently in India, some of the board examinations have been delayed to June. So I wonder if this will have an effect on the applications to ABBA, or whether considerations can be made for late applications, especially from India, since some of these board examinations have been delayed or pushed back.
Yeah, so yesterday it was announced that year 12 board exams have been postponed and the schedule would be reviewed by June 1st. So we still don't know when the exams will be conducted. But we are encouraging students to send in the applications. As a university, we're looking at extending deadlines. We're working on it because we also have to work with DPI. But we are assuring students we will be open for them for the September.
Fantastic. That's good to know. Great. And Jack, so you're based. You've been. How long have you been living in Aberystwyth now?
Well, I'm just about to move there next week, actually. So I've bought a house in Aberystwyth now. But as I was moving down from Durham, where I was working previously, I was kind of in a halfway point at the moment, and the lockdown made house buying slightly slower. But I've visited many times, so would certainly welcome any questions regarding the town. Definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what's one of your personal favorite aspects of the town? What do you enjoy most, like doing on the weekend or doing in your free time in ABBA?
Okay, I think my favorite spot that I've found so far is called Constitution Hill, which is pretty close to where this shot behind me is taking. So it's just a few minutes up through this really nice wooded area. And there are lots of benches and seats on top of this hill called Constitution Hill. And you look out and see the whole of Aberystwyth town. You've got a fantastic view of the sea. And that's just a really nice area to go and take some food and sit and relax, go take a book. I think that's one of the most scenic places that I'm.
Looks like a good place for a sunset, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect. So I mean, we always mention sort of the landscape here in the environment, but it is really special. I have a lot of alumni come back and visit because they miss ABBA. It's just wonderful. But there's a huge amount going on in the town as well. I mean, having mentioned how popular it is as a tourist destination, that means there's almost a disproportionate amount of shops, cafes, bars, places to eat and drink in town because it gets all of that tourism. So yeah, a population of only 20,000, but it's bustling. It doesn't feel like it when you're in the town and you see everything that's available. So there's a lot to enjoy.
Lovely. And my next question would be for Marianne and Annette. Since you look after a lot of international students from Southeast Asia and Annette in India as well. So what do you think students from your regions particularly enjoy about Aberystwyth? And are there a lot of like international events or sort of festivals? Because it's a tight university town, I imagine there's a lot of things to do for lots of different international students there too. Maybe you can start, Marianne.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you for raising the question. In fact, I've got lots to share on it because I've seen about 4 groups of students every year. I mean, 4 batches of students going every year from Southeast Asia. It's very difficult to get them out of Aberystwyth once they have graduated to begin with, because students have the time of their life. They bond very well because it's a small town, and people are very, very friendly. And it's not been covered in the presentation, but it is one of the safest town around. I have personally experienced it. I've left my bag overnight, come back to find nobody, it's not been touched. That's how friendly people are, and it's the safest town around. So students have a great time there, and it's really nice to see alumni coming back, sharing their experience. They're so enthusiastic. In fact, we have alumni across Southeast Asia offering to speak to students whenever we have an inquiry. So from our inquiry, so that speaks the volume of how good Aberystwyth is. I can go on and on, but yeah, it's a really good feel to have graduates come back and share their experience. And when they graduate, the kind of jobs that they get into. So it's really, really interesting to see all that.
We have strong societies for international students from these regions. We have a really quite large Malaysian society, don't we, Marianne?
We do, actually. We do have a Malaysian society. We have a Vietnamese group, Brunei group, and where we have students having potlucks on almost every alternate other weeks. So whenever I visited Aberystwyth, they're always calling us for potluck dinners. So that is the bond that is being created when they are there. So they are not lost among the crowd. They create such a friendship there. It's really amazing to see that.
Lovely, lovely. That's great. What about you, Annette? What do you think? What do you think Aberystwyth brings in terms of student life for students from India?
So I've spoken to a couple of alumni who are now working either in India or somewhere in some parts of European countries, and they have all good things to say about Aber. So Indian students want to get into a university firstly wherein they feel safe, whether it's a city or a town, and they do have apprehensions when it's a town because they compare it with Indian towns. But when they went to Aber and they experienced the student life, they had it was really fun for them. But also, it does have a very strong Welsh culture, and they learned something new. So they did share about the culture, and when I spoke to these alumni, and also with the job opportunities within their course structure, because it's application based and it is a research intensive university. So that also helped them a lot, which also helped them in getting jobs, not only in the UK, but in other parts of the world, because it's a research intensive university and the kind of industrial links that the departments have is very strong. So in terms of the course structure, it was, of course, the experience was excellent. As a town as well, because it has both the seafront and the mountains. They had so much to do. When Indian students they are not used to a lot of adventures like hiking or adventure sports on a daily basis, because that kind of opportunities are not available in Indian cities or towns. But yes, while studying, they did experience that. So that was also something that they really enjoyed.
Lovely. That's great. Fantastic. And Jack, if we have a few international students that love and that are passionate about their football like they are in Vietnam, where would be the closest game? Where could I go watch a game? Is it Swansea or Cardiff City? Where do I go to watch an EPL game?
Yeah, so they're the big ones. Neither, although both have been in the Premier League,
but they're not this year, right?
Currently in the Prem, no. But we have so Aston Villa is pretty close. They're in the Championship.
So that's in Birmingham, right?
Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah, but there is a football team within Aberystwyth. So Aberystwyth Town FC competes in the Welsh Premier League, actually, which is Yeah, it's a pretty strong standard actually.
Oh, fantastic.
So there is that opportunity, and that's a stadium with a couple of thousand seats. So
Yeah.
there is an atmosphere there. So for any students that are sort of missing football, they just want to go see a game, then one of the Aberystwyth games against a close local rival is definitely one to experience. Yes.
Absolutely. I see I have another question here that asks about the average living cost for international students in Aber. So taking into account accommodation, or if you don't pay accommodation, of course, like how often or how much money would you expect an international is paying per week or per month at Aber?
Oh, it will very much depend on the student and their choice of lifestyle. But
Yes.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the big accommodation cost is taken out. So that's any of the sorts of water bills, Wi-Fi bills, none of those are included. So it's definitely very much just what the student wants to do in their own time, really. We found that food costs are very, very low in Aberystwyth. So eating out, having that social experience, going somewhere for dinner with your friends is very well priced. We've got a really good range of supermarkets in Aberystwyth as well. So lots of variety there, and it's a lot of self-catered residences also. So for students choosing to cook for themselves, it's definitely just depends on what they're deciding to cook and make up, bulk cooking. But it's a fairly cheap town in terms of the UK, and as I think I mentioned in the presentation earlier, public transport not really used here because everything's within walking distance. So you're not having to get on the bus every day and spend the £3 or £4 on bus tickets every day. You're walking around, you're getting fit, you're enjoying the town, and so that's probably the main one. We do have a page on our site again for recommended costs. I think it's perhaps broken down monthly or annually.
I would like to add, for visa purposes, international students will need to maintain £9,207. That's the living cost that they need to maintain to apply for visa, apart from the tuition fees.
Right.
And this includes the accommodation cost. You need not, of course, you wouldn't be using the accommodation fees to pay, but for just showing the funds, you need to show this amount.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, understood. Great, fantastic.
£9,207.
£9,270.
9207.
Oh, 9207. Okay, fantastic.
So that's the standard level required across the board, isn't it? So.
And just to add on, when we're speaking to parents, probably in Malaysia or Vietnam or any of these countries, we would, if any parents ask in a rough average on what is the actual expenditure, we would normally say average cost of living in Aberystwyth would range between 6,500 to 8,000 pounds a year.
Yeah, got it. Fantastic.
Marianne, was that before the inclusive accommodation? Sorry, you're on mute, Marianne.
I'm so sorry. That is before the inclusive accommodation offer.
Yes, so that would have included accommodation costs. Yes, so much lower down than that. You can remove many thousands for the accommodation being included. Yeah.
Because I think in your presentation you said if the student does go to the Portmore.
Yeah.
Portmore. That's usually around 7,000 per year.
4,000 per year.
4,000 per year, and that would be all off. Yeah.
Yeah. No cost there, and then also includes free gym membership, which is an added bonus as well. So that's a couple of £100 saved for any students.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a very attractive option for students looking to go to the UK to have that accommodation option there. Very, very good. And if you want to choose another accommodation, of course, you have £2,000 off as well. So that's fantastic to know about as well.
I know I said it's the first year we've been running it, but it's made a really culturally diverse, fun environment within the campus as well, because so many of our students are selecting this International Accommodation Awards. It's become yeah, a much more culturally diverse campus at the same time as well, which is fantastic to see.
I've got a couple more questions. One, does ABBA accept Duolingo as an acceptable English examination test?
Currently not. No, I'm afraid not Duolingo, but we do have a list shown on our website that I can link in. We do have Password as well, which Marianne's spoken through. But IELTS indicator, the TOEFL, Pearson, Cambridge, quite a wide range, but not currently Duolingo, unfortunately. Great. And Password's a good one too. So you said that if the student does that test and passes, meets the requirement, then it's free. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's really good to know as well. Another question is how much gap? We get a lot of questions about the gap for applications given COVID-19 as well. There's been a few gap questions come up. So how much gap is acceptable for UG programs at Aberystwyth? What's the maximum amount of period that you would allow after someone's graduated high school and then applying for ABBA?
I think 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
But they would also need to justify what they were doing during that year. Not more than 1 year.
Yeah,
I think if there is evidence of the student, like I said, what they've been doing, if they've been working in a relevant field, if they've been doing activities or different study that's related to the program they're looking to go into, then yeah, there is some flexibility there.
Like in India, you have a lot of students who prepare for government exams and take some gap years. So if they can justify that, so we can look at a case-to-case basis.
I see, Miss Yum. I think you put your hand up. Did you have a question? I'll unmute her. Yes, Yum. If you have a question, you can ask.
Right now, I don't have any questions, but I hope that I will consider again when I have a student, and I will send the feedback for you, and
Great.
also ask you more about information for my student. Yes, I hope that next time I will send the student come to the UK to study for education. We are and we have cooperation good in the future. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you so
Very
much
good.
for your seminar. The seminars offer a lot of information.
Yeah, that's good.
Useful. Yeah. For me today, so thank you so much, and hope all you well. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Yum. Miss Yum is one of our partners in Vietnam.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it seems like she got a lot of enjoyment out of today's presentation, which is good. Great. Okay, we've gone over the hour, so I think we'll leave it there. And once again, thank you, Jack, Marianne, and Annette, for your insights today. We certainly got a lot of takeaways from it and have a very good impression of Aberystwyth now. And hope, like Yum said, I hope we have some students for you for the upcoming intake. I think, as I said before, I think UK is in a really good position, and there's a lot of interest for me, what I can see on the ground here as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Bo and the YES team for today. We're really looking forward to working with the YES team and all of your partners as well. And yes, hopefully lots of positive news for Aberystwyth and YES working together coming ahead. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
No problem. No problem. Okay. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.